Hello, we are live. This is Kelley with Gia's Italian Kitchen. Thank you so much for joining tonight. We have a very special episode. We're going to cook out of the Sopranos family cookbook, which in itself is a stitch because I found this book at Half Price Books and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get this. But we're going to make two dishes tonight that are make-ahead that you could make on Wednesday for your Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday. So we're going to make a pasta puttanesca, which I will describe to you in a minute, and then poached pears with white wine and vanilla. They're both delicious. I'm going to show you how easy they are, and you can make them and then reheat them on Thursday in a matter of minutes. So thank you again. If you are out there and you emailed me ahead of time, you have the class packet. If you did not, you can email us, Kelley, K-E-L-L-E-Y, at giasitaliankitchen.biz, B-I-Z, and I can email that to you later so that you have the recipes and the grocery list and kind of the sequence of what we're doing. So we're going to get started. So I have an induction stove here so that you guys can see, and then I'm going to kind of toggle back and forth here to my actual stove to get things simmering while we make both of these dishes and finish in less than an hour to get you eating tonight, and you can prep for Wednesday. Okay, let's get this puppy on. So if you don't have an induction stove, either like this is just a temporary burner that I plugged into my outlet, but if you actually have an induction, they're pretty cool. They heat up pretty fast, they cook nice and evenly. You need an induction pan though, so if you don't know, you can find like a magnet, and if it sticks, that means it's compatible. So, nice little trick. So we do have a special guest. She is under the weather, so she is off camera, but she's here. Nana, can you say hi?
Hello everyone, so happy to be here.
So we're going to chat. Because, you know, part of Thanksgiving and the Sopranos and everything Italian is family, right? So we're going to chat throughout this, but she's hanging over there in the shadows, but Mike is on. So, okay, so on this induction, the first thing I'm going to add is a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Now, normally you do want to add, especially with an induction, something to the pan right when you turn it on to start warming it up, because if it's empty, it heats super fast, and then whatever you put in there usually starts smoking and gets all nasty. So I have two of my absolute favorite olive oils. This is Olivelli from the Brick Kitchen in Independence, so if anyone's watching, shout out to them. And then I love this. This is another imported one, Cortana from Graziano's, which is the Italian grocery store in our area, so it's awesome. Okay, so that's going to come up a little bit. Then we're going to add some garlic, lots and lots of garlic. So what I have, oh geez, is garlic that I pre-crushed. Oh my goodness, look at this one. Oh my, what the heck?
Dang it.
Hello, bang it. That's interesting. Okay, there we go. Holy cow. Okay. Oh, let me get the big bag though. So this is a trick. This is my garlic hack. So this bag, let's see, how much does this weigh? This is insane. 3 pounds, which is a lot of garlic. But you can get like smaller ones at your local grocer. This is from like Sam's or Costco. But what I do with this is put it in my Cuisinart, your little food processor, and these are raw cloves, nothing is in it. You know, instead of doing the jar that you would get in your grocer's vegetable section that's like not refrigerated, it's got citric acid and like
Full of preservatives.
Yeah.
Full of preservatives.
And you can taste the difference, right, when I do the crush?
Oh,
Yeah.
You can smell the difference.
Yeah. So I put this in the food processor, and then in a freezer-safe jar, you fill it, top it with your good extra virgin olive oil, and then you stick this in the freezer. So like this bag is going to give me like 10 of these. But then I give some to Nana, I give some to my neighbors, I keep some in my freezer. But then you have actual, fresh, whole, pure garlic that you just spoon out, and in it goes. I mean, it's just It's awesome. And then you also don't have the mess of doing like the shucking, right? And the chopping, like every time you cook. So this is an awesome little garlic hack. And then I'll take them out like one at a time and put them in my fridge. And they'll last in the fridge for, you know, maybe 2-3 weeks, and then they start to oxidize. But in the freezer, they'll keep for months. Months. Okay, so let's give this a stir. So what I'm starting is the Puttanesca. Now what's cool about this, and this is actually shocking, is that there's no meat, and there's no cheese in the sauce, which is like crazy. Crazy talk.
The no cheese.
I know, right?
Yeah,
but there isn't.
crazy.
It's I did read that it's like a pantry pasta. It was a nickname that I saw online, because everything that's in it is, except for the parsley, is just like in your cabinet, and you can. So it's a really good recipe to buy the ingredients, throw them in your cabinet, and then this is a super easy weeknight meal.
Mm-hmm. So the parsley you could have in a pot in your garden.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Depending on where you're living.
Yeah. I've tried that. We're in Iowa. It does not like Iowa winters.
No.
So I'm putting some crushed red pepper in here as well. Now this is, I'm going to give another plug to one of my favorites, Frontier. They are also here in Iowa. This is an organic dried red pepper. They are just an awesome company, very focused on sustainability, but they have very organic herbs and spices, essential oils. It's awesome. So I did an interview with Alicia, their sustainability manager. So if you go to my Facebook or my YouTube, you can scroll down and see that interview with her. It was really fun just to learn more about that company, because I love these herbs and I love the fact that they're organic, because they're just healthier, you know, without the pesticides and other who knows whatever else is going on. Okay, so these are going to simmer a little bit. Now you said, Mom, that you have not had this before.
I have never had, I don't think I have.
Maybe when you taste it, you'll remember.
My mama and my nana never made it. Okay. To my knowledge.
Well, and you know what? I think why is that it's a southern dish. Because if you think of like the Sopranos, they're from Napoli, Naples, which is south of Rome, and then Sicily was their other half, or you know, whatever. Yeah, and we're from Tuscany, which is north of Rome, so it's probably just a southern recipe. I don't know if you're out there, throw a comment in. But I think that's why maybe Nono never made it.
Right, because we cook northern.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I don't want these to go for too long, because then the garlic's going to sweeten up. So I'm going to add a can of crushed tomatoes. Now, of course, if you live in a place that you have fresh tomatoes, by all means, you know, chop some fresh tomatoes. But given that we're in Iowa, Thanksgiving is this week, we have no fresh tomatoes, because what's our temp? Like 32. I mean, it's cold. So the garden is inside now. It's pulled out and not happening. Okay, so what else do we need to put in here? So this recipe, this pasta puttanesca, I kind of monkeyed with it a little bit from the actual Sopranos cookbook, because, you know, they only used like 3 cloves of garlic, and I was like, oh no. We need more than that. So, like, just random things like that. The other thing was the crushed red pepper. They said, or peppercini. So you could have chopped that up, which is kind of like a banana, spicy banana pepper kind of. But I just did the chili pepper, the red pepper. What else did I change?
I wonder if they use a lot of less garlic than northern Italians do anyway.
I don't know.
That would be interesting.
We should look that up. I don't know. Okay, so
oregano.
Oregano, yep. There's that. Some dry. I'm using dry. You could, of course, if you have fresh, you could throw fresh in there. You know what was surprising when we were there visiting a couple years ago, Mom, was that when they cook, they used a lot more oregano than I thought. Like, I was thinking there was basil in just everything, which there is, but they use a lot of more oregano than I
More
remember.
oregano.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was interesting.
And
Okay.
then a pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt. This is great. You're gonna just read me the recipe.
Right. That's why I'm here.
Fabulous.
I don't need to be on camera to read.
I love it.
And I'm on camera in spirit.
Yes, you are. Thank you for being here. Okay, and then the capers and the olives. But let's do the olives. Let's talk about the olives. So these olives are not American black olives out of a jar. Do not use those. They do not taste anything like an Italian black olive. So these are olive oil cured and with salt and olive oil, and there's probably other things. Sometimes you can actually get them with red pepper flakes on them as well, which are also delicious, but these are just the olive oil cured. They look like regular black olives, but they're pruny, right? They're all squishy because they've been cured. So they're like they look like a really tiny black prune. But they're so delicious, and they literally, like, if you say, oh, I don't like black olives, give these a try, because these really taste nothing like they're so good. Like a black olive out of a jar or a can. Do you want one? Of course. So the not issue, but the conundrum with this is there's pits, and I've never found anywhere that pits them for you. So we have a pitter. So I saved a few of these. I pitted most of these, so you guys didn't have to watch me pit all these. But the coolest thing that I have found is a cherry pitter. So if you're a baker and you do pitting of cherries for your pies, this thing works amazing to get the pit out of the olive. So you just stick the olive right, there's this little tray, I guess you'd call it, and then there's the rod, and it's going to just go through and push it right through. And watch your fingers. And then there's the pit. Oh, it's gone. It fell in the bowl. And then there's your olive. So I just have a bowl of the olives already pitted that I'm going to then, did you hear that sound? I mean, it's so awesome. It's so easy. So I just did 5 olives in a matter of seconds. So it's not terrible, but when you have a big bowl of them, do that ahead of time. So I'm going to dump all of these in there. So good. Here, I saved you a couple, but these have pits. Okay, let me wash my hands. So up until just a few minutes ago, the kitchen smelled like bread because we made homemade sourdough for the week for Thanksgiving. So it kind of smelled like that. So thanks to Holly out there, if you're watching. I hope you're watching. It's her sourdough recipe. Okay, so let me give this a stir. Now this you're going to want to simmer for a good 20 minutes. So I'm going to actually transfer this when we get everything in here. I'm going to transfer it back to my stove here so that we can do the pears and show you the pears here. What else? Oh, the capers. Okay, so capers are also kind of like a salty, I don't know, kind of a little, do you think they're fishy? Maybe a little.
They're a little salty.
Yeah. So I've drained these.
They're
So I'm
so
going to
good,
they're so good though. And all of these ingredients individually, because our last one you might cringe at. You might be thinking, I don't know, I don't like them. But they come together so beautifully that you might be surprised. So the last one is, actually let me get a different knife. Yeah. Anchovies.
And really, you don't need to add any more. You got a pinch of salt.
Oh, a tiny pinch, because you've got
tiny. You don't need anything. The capers have a little salty taste. The
olives
have a salty taste.
Yeah.
Anchovy, you don't need to add anything.
Yeah. So actually, I have 1 can of anchovies. Yes, anchovies. Give it a try. I did drain the oil. Let me just toss this. Now, the other thing their recipe said just put these in there. And I'm like,
No.
like who wants a bite with this whole thing? Let me get one of them. This is like a big,
a little fish.
but like you don't want that in one bite. So I'm dicing these up because because then there'll be like an undertone of the flavor of the sauce, right?
They'll give you such
But
a
you're
good
not gonna
flavor.
get a big, huge bite of an anchovy because then you might decide you don't like anchovies.
Yeah. Actually, when you eat it with the pasta, you won't even know you're eating an anchovy.
Agreed. Okay, so this is all going in there. And then, let me wash this off. Hang on. Yeah.
So we have olives and capers and anchovies, some oregano, the tomatoes. The only thing that we need to do now is to add the Italian parsley.
Okay. So
And
you
then
can use Italian flat leaf or the curly. You usually use the curly
I
when you
usually do use
make stuff.
curly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I bought the flat leaf. Do you think there's a taste difference?
You know what? I like the curly.
Okay.
I think there's
'Cause-
a little bit of a taste difference.
You do? Okay.
And I do like the curly better. And I grew up with curly. And I think my grandma used curly.
I think
And
that's what it
Mama-
is. I think it's like a thing for you. Like it's a
Mhm.
nostalgia thing.
Yes, and my mom used curly. I don't know if she's ever used Italian that I know of.
Okay. Because we could do a taste test sometime.
I think
I
that would
never
be a good
noticed the
idea.
difference though. In like maybe one's more bitter. Do you think? I don't know.
Maybe because that's more of a broad leaf, the Italian parsley. It's more of a broad
Maybe.
leaf, so maybe it'll be more a little bit more there. I'm not sure.
I mean, they're both beautiful, fresh greenery, right? That
Yes,
we're adding to this.
Any dish is
yeah.
delicious.
So I'm actually gonna not add this quite yet. I want to add this at the end and give it like a couple minutes to simmer, but I don't want it to sit here and wilt so much. So I'm gonna put this in our bowl here and add this later. Okay, so we have everything in there?
I bet at grocery stores too, they didn't have Italian parsley when I was growing up.
Oh, maybe.
We probably just had, you'd have to go to a specialty store
Oh, okay.
to get the Italian parsley, and just the normal curly would be in the grocery store. Like so
Oh.
many things.
Yeah.
Like romaine lettuce, we always had lettuce for many years.
Well, yeah, because there wasn't all of the varieties that there
Right.
are today.
There were, but
Yeah.
you never saw them. I mean, they
Well,
were
not
in the
right,
grocery store.
right. That's what I mean. Yeah, they
Mhm.
weren't in the grocery stores. Okay, so let's give this a stir. Oh, it smells so good. I always say I wish, like the Willy Wonka, the smell of, or what did they have? Something vision, Wonka vision. And I think if we had smell-o-vision, like
Yeah,
that'd be the coolest thing.
I'm
We
so
should-
anxious.
We need to invent that.
so anxious to taste this.
It's and that's it, guys. So I'm gonna go put this on the back burner. I have some pasta that I made. You can use any shape of pasta that you want. That really doesn't matter. But I saved some of the pasta water because as this is gonna simmer, it's gonna start thickening up, and I want to add some of the pasta water to this sauce. So I'm gonna switch pans here. And actually turn this down so this doesn't get too hot. Okay. And then I'm going to just turn this kind of on a low medium so that it's at a gentle boil, or a gentle simmer. And then we'll start the pears. So first we're going to make a simple syrup. So I have some water. So we'll let that warm up. Let me turn this back up and get that heated up. So did I dress the part? I did my hair and I found like as much gold layers as possible. And this shirt Do I look like a soprano? At least a character?
Character of the Sopranos.
Maybe. Okay, well, cheers to Nana. We have our little fall wine glasses. So we're drinking Pinot Grigio, which is more of a dry, crisp white wine that we're going to use in the Pears. So we're going to just give this a little taste.
I gave mine several tastes.
Do you like it?
Mm-hmm.
Normally you don't like white.
Well, I don't usually drink white. I will drink white
That's good.
in the summer a lot more
Okay.
often than in the winter. In the winter, I just like it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Okay, so a simple syrup is just water and sugar. Now normally it's a 1-to-1. This is not a 1-to-1. I think this was, yeah, like 3/4 to 1/2. So I'm going to add 1/2 cup of just regular granulated sugar. And you want to stir this pretty much constantly so that it doesn't burn at the bottom. And you want it to fully dissolve. So if you guys can see that, you can see how it's really cloudy and, oh, see it beeped at me because I lifted the pan off. Safety. But it'll become completely white or see-through clear again, and all that cloud goes away, and you'll see no more granular. So we'll just let this kind of go for a couple minutes. Now my favorite thing to make, and you can probably guess, Mom, with a simple syrup.
Our drinks.
Yeah, so we love Kentucky Derby. I'm sure you've probably seen maybe some pictures over the years on our social media, but I make a homemade simple syrup with mint. So I do this, but in a bigger pot, and then just and then I turn it off. Cram as much fresh mint in, and then stick it in the fridge for like days, and it just steeps and becomes this. It's so delicious to make a mint julep for the Kentucky Derby. It's so good. Oh, it's so good.
It's really the
what
only
else?
time of the year that I have a mint julep.
I know. I don't make them except for
so
in May.
delicious
Yeah.
for that day, particular day.
Do you use simple syrup for anything else? I'm trying to think of what else
I
I
have
make
used
it
it for
for.
a couple recipes. I'm trying to think what might be.
I did one last year, I think, but it was to make another drink.
Well, I
Did
think
you?
you use them more for drinks, actually.
You know, you could put like pomegranates in here, cranberries, rosemary, and make like a beautiful base for
Like
a
Christmas drink.
yeah, for a
that
Christmas
would be good.
cocktail. Totally.
Yeah.
Ooh, like a oh, that's what we're gonna do. Oh, I'm gonna post this. Cranberries and rosemary into an ice cube into a gin and tonic, or like a gin spritzer.
However,
What?
as we figured out yesterday, I happen to have had a old fashioned, and they put the cherry and the orange
That's right.
inside of the ice cube, and I couldn't taste them until the ice cube melted. So I don't know if we can do that. I think we need to add the rosemary and the other stuff
Into
to the drink.
Okay.
And that's
okay,
just
yeah.
a garnish. They did
Yeah.
not use it as a garnish. They used it as the stuff.
Yeah, because you didn't have the
Yeah,
cherry and the
yeah.
orange in your drink at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Okay, next we're gonna use the white wine for the
2
2
cups.
cups. So we might not get much more of a sip out of this one.
And you could use a Sauvignon Blanc or
Yeah.
a Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, what I would not use is like a Chardonnay
Chardonnay.
or a Riesling or Gewürztraminer or any of those because, well, a Chardonnay isn't going to be sweet, but it's going to be
It's
heavier and buttery.
Yes, it has a different taste.
And then, oh no, the, a Riesling or Gewürztraminer are super sweet. So it's like any of those are just going to really change the flavor of this recipe. So the Sauv Blanc or the Pinot Grigio is more that crispier, almost actually a lot of Pinot Grigios or Sauv Blancs sometimes have the pear undertone as like the tasting notes. So it's a perfect wine for this dish. Okay, next, the vanilla bean. So this is a whole vanilla bean. This is not vanilla extract or vanilla paste. I don't know, maybe you could use vanilla paste actually, because that would probably, no, it's good for cooking. It would actually probably dissolve. I didn't try the paste, but it's not vanilla extract. It is,
The paste may be too heavy for this.
maybe, I haven't tried that, we could try that. But it is a whole vanilla bean. Now you should be able to find these, usually this is not in your spice aisle in the grocery store where you would find salt and pepper and, you know, dried Italian seasoning and whatever. It's usually, well, at least in our grocers, in a separate section in the health market that has, like, the frontier herbs is in there because they're organic, but there's other, I guess, more pure, maybe higher end, I don't know what you would call it, ingredients or the whole thing. That, because I've never found these in, like, where you would just go get
hard to find.
the salt and pepper.
Very
Yeah.
hard to find.
So we're going to put this in all by itself, whole. Thank you again, Frontier. And we're going to let this just simmer in here. So this is going to turn up a little bit because I do want to bring this to a rolling simmer. And then, while that's happening, we're going to grab our pears. Oh, the lemon.
Lemon.
Okay. Another plug for Brick Kitchen in Independence, Iowa. So I'm going to use a vegetable peeler because what we're going to do is get some strips of the lemon zest. But this vegetable peeler is the coolest thing. So it has this guard that comes down. So one, you close it, you put it in your drawer, and you don't, like, slice your finger when you go looking through your drawer. But it's also a sharpener as it goes up and down.
Oh, how cool
Yeah,
is
thanks,
that?
Nate. I love this thing.
Oh
I'm
my
coming.
gosh.
I'm buying more for the stocking stuffers.
Oh.
It is the coolest. So anyway, so we're gonna do some strips. What size? It really doesn't matter. It's really how big you can get it. But the key is you want to get the yellow and not the white, because that's the bitter part of the lemon. You want the zesty part that is just gonna taste. It's, you know, it's where the oils are. So it's gonna be very beautiful to add flavor to this recipe. So I'm gonna do the strips, the zest strips of one lemon.
Well, I assume that has been washed. You wash the lemons first?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You always want to wash your fruits and vegetables.
I guess
Oh,
it's
goodness.
kind of like the outer edge of anything. Like sometimes when I make pies and things, I'll put
Yeah.
the skins on, or carrots.
Yeah.
I don't buy the little ones that have been.
Oh, those are gross. They have wax on them.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Well, they aren't good for you. And what is good for you is the outer
The
edge
skin,
of
yeah.
the.
Yeah, but you need to wash. Yeah, you need to wash to get
them, but
not just the dirt off, but if you don't buy organic, you've got chemicals
Pesticides,
probably.
right.
Yeah, on the vegetables and fruits. So yeah, so I'm just letting those float around in there. Okay, I'm gonna come back here and check on this. Oh, I have some. Let me grab this and stir this one high. So you can see this is thickening up. So I am going to add a little bit of the pasta water, which is actually, it's going to, obviously it's water, so it's going to thin it down a little bit, but it's also going to kind of help as a binder because it has the starches in there from cooking the pasta. So it's going to help bind the sauce and bind the sauce to the pasta. So you always want to save a little bit of that pasta water when you're making a homemade sauce. And that should be pretty warm still, so this shouldn't take too long to come back up to a simmer. So we'll just let that go and hang out back there, and we'll come back and do the pears. Okay, so I have several pears here. what we need to do is core them. So there's several ways you can do this. If you have one of these contraptions to make like apple pie where you do this thingy, this works awesome. But we need to kind of modify it because we don't want to slice it like we're going to make an apple pie because we want the pear. So I did a couple. Yeah, we don't want to skin it. So I did a few already. So you can see, I don't know, can you see my eyeball in there? Can you see my eyeball? This thing will core it without taking the skin off or slicing it. So this tool is like super awesome. So let me just ground this thing. Now there's, I don't know, several different little pieces going on here, but this, here, let me pull this back. This first one has a little lever, a little lock on it, and if you let it come up like that, that's what's going to take the skin off. So I'm going to pull this back and do the little lock thing, and then it stays out of my way. Okay, then this part, here, let me lift it back up. So I'm talking about this part, this little thing on the side. Now, the circle here at the end, that's what's going to cut it. So whatever we're doing here, I'm going to stop before I get there because I don't want it to cut. If you don't have one of these, you can use a paring knife or a melon baller. Actually, you would probably start with the paring knife, but then you could use the melon baller to finish it off if you didn't have one of these. So I'm going to start with the paring knife no matter what, or this is kind of like a steak knife, but a little knife. And I'm going to start at the bottom edge and make 4 incisions to kind of start the process because it's going to help when you get over here to the little contraption. So I'm just going to make 4 little incisions. And then I'm going to take the knife and kind of make a circle to try to scoop out what I just cut so that I get that start. Cool, see? And then that came out, so I've got my little start at the end. So what I'm going to do is cram this on the end. And then you need, so if you're, I'm right-handed, so my left hand is going to hold the pear, and you need to use a little bit of force so that it doesn't go through the ring at the end. I'm still going to do the crank thing, but see, it's moving, and then you kind of have to give it some resistance so that you don't cut. There, see? And then it goes all the way through. And then we pull it back.
Clever.
Yeah, I know. It's
I've
super
never
cool.
done that. I've always skinned whatever I've been doing.
Mhm.
I didn't want to skin my apples because I like to have.
Oh, I leave the skin on the apples for pie
Yeah,
too.
but it's
Yeah.
so easy for them to cut.
Yeah, but if you have one of these, this makes like a whiz bang apple pie. If you
Yes.
want the cut, because you're like, and then
Yeah,
it like
so-
does the whole thing for you.
Right.
Okay, so then this lever is an easy way to pull this thing back without doing the crank thing, and then you just pull off the pear. And so the stem is still on because I kind of went sideways a little bit, but I got the whole core out, so it's pretty cool. Okay, let me do the last one, and then circle that, get that bottom piece out, shove it on there.
I bet you could do that, and then if you pull the skinner
Super
off,
cool.
you
Yeah.
can still put it through the cutter if you want it to cut your apple.
Oh yeah, you can just
Yeah,
pull the
just
skinner
pull
back if you
that
want to keep
back.
your skin on. Oh yeah, totally.
So that'd
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. And if they're, you know, well, see, this one has like a seed, so I'm just going to pull it out with my knife. But, pretty cool. So, we're going to put these in whole into our pan here with the wine, vanilla, lemon, and our simple syrup. So, I think I can fit all 7 of these in here. Oh yeah, cool.
Now the recipe says to cover. Do you have a cover for that?
I do, but I'm going to transfer this to back there so that we can bring the pasta back up here.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to cover this we're gonna let that simmer. How long did they say let it simmer?
20 minutes.
Okay. So let me just rinse my hands again. Okay. Yeah. I know. Hang on. Okay, bringing this back. There we go. Putting this over here. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this on like the medium heat. Can you guys see this part? Oh, okay. I'll just cover this and let it go. So medium heat, it should still kind of do that the little gentle simmer, and that's fine. Okay, then let's come back over here.
Yeah, it's smelling so
Oh my gosh.
wonderful.
You can see it, yeah?
Yeah, it is totally different from any kind of pasta that I've had.
Okay.
I mean,
Now we
you
make
look
the
for
black
it-
olive chicken,
Well, we do,
but that doesn't have anchovies or capers.
right? And it doesn't have the big chunks of tomato. I mean,
Oh,
it's
right.
totally
That's
different.
true, yeah. So the black olives, I mean, olives are everywhere, right, in Italy. So I think that's probably a staple for cooking, no matter what region you're in. But yeah, maybe not the others. So I'm putting the parsley in. Oh, see, now it looks so pretty, and it looks like my apron, like the flag.
Well, there you go. A patriotic dish.
That's right. Oh, this is so pretty.
That would be beautiful for Christmas. The red and the green.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know this isn't like a typical Thanksgiving dish, but if you're looking for something that's a little different, again, it's a make ahead. So what you would do now is pretty much stop, or you would actually, what I would do is actually stop before the parsley goes in. Let it cool down, stick it in your fridge, and like you could even make it for, make it tonight and put it in the fridge for Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're having like a Friendsgiving on Wednesday, do it for Wednesday. But it's, some Thanksgivings, like we have a few dishes that are
Different.
but some of them are like, they have to be the same every year, right?
The sweet potatoes.
And then
this is the gravy, the turkey.
And then you want some other things that are maybe different, right? Or a spin on something. So like our sweet potatoes, I think what we're gonna do is, oh, it's so good. It's the adobe chipotles with the sweet potato with a little bit of sea salt and a little bit of olive oil. No marshmallows. No brown sugar. So that's like a little twist on, like we're doing sweet potatoes, but we're not doing those sweet potatoes. So this would be a nice little twist. The desserts, I know everyone wants pies, but maybe you want something other than a pie, or you want a pie and something else.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a beautiful, different dessert. So the pears need to cook for at least another probably 15-20 minutes, at least 15, because you want the pears to soften up. So I'm not going to make you sit around and watch the pears. But you want to serve it in a little bowl that has a little rim, so that you can pour a little bit of the wine, that little sauce on it. So what I would do for it, I'll just show you, even though one of these is not ready.
You also, once you take all the pears out, you're going to want to cook that sauce for about 10 minutes and let it thicken up, because then you can use that to pour over the pears when you serve it.
Oh yeah, it might thicken up a little bit.
It'll thicken
Yeah,
up
that's
a
true.
little bit.
Okay.
If you turn your heat up a little, maybe to medium.
Okay. Okay, so let's bring the pasta over here. Now, true to form, any pasta. A true Italian does not serve the plated pasta like this. You would never get, you shouldn't ever get, in a Italian family or a good Italian restaurant, you would never get a plate of pasta like this and then the sauce poured over it, right? No. You put the pasta in the sauce, you let it simmer, attach to the sauce, and get fully incorporated and mixed in with that sauce. And then let's toss that up. And then I let it simmer for a couple more minutes once the pasta's back in there. So I cook my pasta even just a little bit before al dente because it's gonna now cook because this sauce is all hot and simmering, right? Oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. And delicious. Woo! Okay, so we'll let that simmer for just a couple minutes and I'll get the pear. So I'm gonna just take one of these pears out so I can show you how I'm gonna serve this, even though it's not ready yet. I'll show you. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. Okay, so you can this is actually a good view here because you can see how the pear is starting to change colors as it's cooking, which is super cool. So what I'm going to do is cut this in half so that it opens up, and then I'm going to pour the sauce over it because then the sauce will actually get past the skin, right? Now you can serve this a whole pear, but if you're also doing a pie, maybe people want a half of a pear or a quarter of a pear. So lots of options there. Okay, let's do the pasta. And you want to get, I mean, you should get part like of everything because you mixed it all up. But we've got the olives and tomatoes and capers and anchovies and the fresh parsley. It's so good. Let me take a taste. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good, you guys. Pasta puttanesca, poached pears. So if you enjoyed this tonight, thank you again for joining. I do have gift certificates available as well as you can purchase a private group class. So if you go to my website, giasitaliankitchen.biz, Gias, G-I-A-S, biz, B-I-Z, and go to my shop. So if you go to those three little lines, go to my shop. At the very top is my full menu. So for a private group class, you create a custom menu. And if you're local, I can do it in person. If you're not, I can do it virtual. We can have multiple locations in. So if you have friends or family in Florida and California, we can get everyone live on video and everyone is making the same dish and we are lockstep. So like, you know, we'll be prepping all of this together and then at the end you have a beautiful dinner party. So please check that out. It makes a wonderful gift for family or friends for the holidays.
Oh, it is. It's perfect because it's always so difficult, especially to buy for the adult children. Where are you going to get them?
Good point. Private group cooking class.
Yep.
They're
Absolutely.
fun. They're fun. I also have team building. So if you have a culture program at your place of employment, we can do in-person and or virtual or combination team building events. So everyone loves to eat. It's a fun team building event versus like going axe throwing, right? So, and if you are local, I do have an event space here that I can provide if you don't have one. So check that out again on my website, giasitaliankitchen.biz. And that's our quick and easy little Sopranos cookbook. So I love this. I'm gonna find more fun cookbooks and do more of these in the coming months because I thought this was like a stitch that I found this book. I didn't even know it existed actually.
What? When was
Oh,
The
let me get
Sopranos on TV? What year, do you know?
It was like in the maybe late 80s, early 90s. There it is.
Really, that late?
Well, let's look.
I wonder.
When was this?
Yeah, when it was.
Yeah, I think. Well, this was 2002, but
Oh, well,
no, I think it was like. I think it's early 90s.
Really?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Give or take. Was when the show was on.
Okay.
Yeah, watched every episode. But they were like East Coast Italians
Oh, definitely.
from the south
From
of Italy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Italy, yeah.
So different food, but very similar traditions and
Family.
family and
everything,
yeah.
too.
So okay, now we have a red to eat with our tomato sauce.
Okay.
Salud.
Buonanotte.
Buonanotte. Thanks for joining. Have a great holiday. Stay safe and hug your friends and family. It's good for your endorphins. Bye bye. Thanks for joining.